I don't think Elon Musk can blame me for the way Twitter is going.
I'm just telling you what he said, right?
I know, but I don't use Twitter.
That's not the worst thing he said about you either.
Welcome to Multiple Nerdgasm with your hosts, Matt, Luke, and Matt, and Luke. Multiple Nerdgasm, your guide to all things nerdy.
I've never understood it.
No, I used to use Twitter. I mean, so Twitter this week, there's been things aren't going well, obviously. And then you had mentioned, you saw an article about something Xbox related to do with Twitter.
Yeah, so you used to be able to directly from the Xbox in your PC, like share a screenshot or a clip, like directly from the Xbox straight to Twitter. Then they've removed that.
Yeah.
And
because the other thing Microsoft did this week is they have an ad platform where you can go, kind of like, like Facebook has one, I guess, and except Microsoft, not being a social network, theirs would let you make an ad and kind of push it out to Facebook and Twitter and Google and all that kind of stuff. So you would make an ad campaign and push it out to all these locations. And they've said they're going to remove Twitter completely from the ad platform at the end of the month. And Elon's now threatening to sue them over that, which I'm not quite sure on what grounds, but
wasn't his whole thing just recently that he was going to get rid of like anyone connecting into our thing and you have to do everything directly through Twitter?
Well, they did. They cut off the API for any third-party clients, basically just destroyed a couple of businesses with no warning when he did that. I don't know.
It's fine for him to do that, but if someone else goes, we're not going to put our ads through here anymore, then we've got to sue you because that's that mean to me.
And his defense, right? With the API thing, he's saying basically you're giving away free money, letting people use it for free. And I guess that's kind of true. This week, Reddit also said they're going to stop allowing API access for third-party clients and stuff, which is kind of the same thing Twitter did. And there wasn't as big a backlash. But I don't think that's necessarily because people think it was okay. It's because they gave a bunch of warning, at least, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the way you're supposed to do it. Twitter just turned it off. And then people were like, it doesn't work anymore. And they went, yeah, you're right. We turned it off. It's like, okay.
Like, yeah, and especially when they did it for that way, like, businesses just went under because, well, we have nothing prepared to try and change what we're doing or make allowances for that. It's just gone.
Some companies, yes. Companies like, who makes Tweetbot? I can't remember the name of the company. Tapbots, it's called. They also make a Mastodon client called Ivory, and they very quickly pivoted and said, please God, buy our Mastodon client, otherwise we're fucked. So I think they're okay on that basis. And then Icon Factory makes Twitterific, and they have other products. So I think they're also okay, but there are others. Like, this is that whole thing where people say you shouldn't build your business on top of someone else's business. Like, especially like an erratic thing, like a social network.
But I don't know. There's working in good faith. Like, I think he's losing business because he's not. That's the problem. He's not being nice and not helping. He's just not. You can't trust him anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no guarantee he's not just going to pull the rug out from under you now. And like,
because what's happening with the blue ticks now? Because I'm confused.
So I think
I've read so many different articles. They're going, they're staying. So you've got to pay for them.
You've got to pay for it now, right? And there's been a period where if you paid for it, it would say, you got the Twitter Blue or whatever. And if you had a legacy one where you got verified before, because it used to be just celebrities would get verified or people of note.
Yeah.
If you had one of those, it had this kind of weird message saying, oh, this is a legacy tick box. I'm not actually cool or something stupid like that. And then now they're just getting rid of all those ones. So you just pay for it now, which like...
Yeah. Unless, I think they are doing something with government stuff.
Yeah, there's a yellow tick box now and then a bloody different... I don't know what he's doing.
And I've also seen that for now... I don't know if it's happened yet, but you won't see anything on the For You page that doesn't have a check mark anymore.
Okay, so you have to pay if you want to be seen on that page.
You have to pay for... Yeah. But he did come out and say, it doesn't stop people who you're following appearing in your For You page, if I'm following them, they should just be in my feed to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, I see what he's doing. He's just trying to make it a somewhat feasible business. But, I mean, they were already hemorrhaging money. So, I mean, that's the problem, is that it's not like Twitter was like a massive cash cow before. It's never been profitable. It's just a stupid thing for him to have bought it.
Because he was going to turn it around and make it all good, but the decisions he's made is pushing advertisers away.
Well, he clearly didn't realize how hard it was going to be to actually make it profitable. It sounds like it's just not profitable.
Well, if you look at it, I think it's just because he's made good decisions in the past. A lot of it is maybe just luck with what he jumped into and when, and his personality. And this is the first time where he's jumped into something that.
Well, this is the thing people are saying, that like, I used to think he was cool and smart, but now I'm like, did he just happen to get in with cool and smart people, kind of thing, and rode his way to the top, and then now it's like, oh, he's actually not that smart.
Because you got to remember, like, he was PayPal, Tesla, they were all like quite small when he got into it, and then became big. This is the first time he's gone, this is huge, and I'm going to take over, and then. It just hasn't worked for him.
I mean, he's not a dumb. It's just he's just maybe not as savvy as everyone once believed.
But did you see he put out a challenge for anyone to come out with evidence to prove that his dad owned an emerald mine? And his dad came out and went, can I enter? Because I can prove that I had an emerald mine. True?
Jesus Christ.
Yes. It wasn't, I think, where even his dad says, I think it might have been the case where it's not like a traditional mine.
Right.
In the sense, but he was mining and selling emeralds.
Okay.
I found that amusing.
That is funny. So his dad won, I guess?
Does he talk to his dad?
I have no idea.
I just get the feeling that he doesn't talk to a lot of his family.
I don't know.
I know he doesn't have a good relationship with his children.
No, especially not his trans kid, who he has completely ostracized, which is awful.
Yes.
We've got some follow-up, and this was quite interesting. And Dan's not here, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, he won't be able to...
Hey, we did that pretty early on in the episode.
Yeah. I just realized he would be interested in this in particular, I think. So, Dan usually... he listens anyway. So, Dan, here you go. This one's for you. Alec Baldwin may be innocent, and maybe he didn't pull the trigger. Turns out, New Mexico police have dropped the charges against him because they did a bit of investigating. Turns out the gun had been modified so it could be fucked around with for a movie, where they fiddle with the way the hammer works and all that kind of stuff. And maybe he didn't pull the trigger because the gun shouldn't have had fucking bullets in it, because it had been modified to look cool and not function normally. So, I think they said there's just not enough. The police did a pretty poor job of investigating at the time, and they basically just said, with all this new evidence, they're not sure this is going to go anywhere anymore.
I never thought that the one against him would go anywhere. The one against the armorist, I think that one.
Yeah, well, it's tough now, though, because apparently they've botched this whole thing. Like, they didn't even look at any of the prop weapons for a week after the incident, and it's just...
Even if they're now turning around saying, like, this gun's been modified, well, the armorist is the one that's still responsible for that.
How did it take so long for that to come up? You've literally had you had this weird interview with Alec Baldwin where he's saying he didn't pull the trigger, and everyone was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And all these gun experts saying that's not how the guns work. How is it that the police did not, at that time, look into it and go, actually, that's because the gun was modified to allow that?
You want to know what it is? And I could be wrong, but I very rarely am. They wouldn't have been putting a lot of resources into this at the time.
Sure.
Like, they actually have, like, other stuff, like actual murders where they don't know who's done it. And they are so far backed up with a lot of their cases. While this one was high profile, they had like a lot of the details there, so they wouldn't have been putting a lot of resources into it.
You're probably
right.
So
that's probably why it's just taken so long to just get to the top of the pile.
It probably seemed straightforward at the time, and then now they've realised, actually it's not, and we didn't do diligence at the time, and now it's not going anywhere.
Because I'm still having fun, like, watching, like, YouTube for, like, court cases and stuff. Sure. And there are court cases that are happening today, and people are going, but this happened, like, 3 years ago. And they're just going, we're backed up because of everything. And so you're still, even though, yes, you haven't heard anything about it, you are now going to jail.
That's like, I've told this story a bunch of times, I think. There was this article I read about an incident in San Francisco where I think someone had been knocked off a bike or something. And this person writing the article or being interviewed for the article got arrested because they were hounding the police and saying, I want to give a statement. The police were like, we don't need a statement. We need you to go away so we can sort this out. And then in the end, they arrested the person because they were like, oh, my right is to give a statement or whatever. And then the police were like, we're fucking busy and we already know what happened. Like, leave us alone. Like, I don't know. If you're a cop, you've got enough to worry about, I think, most of the time.
That's why I hate First Amendment auditors.
Oh, God.
A lot of them, if you look at them, like, the whole thing that a lot of them are saying is we should have the right to film, like cops. And no one is saying that you don't. The problem with a lot of them
you
is...
You don't antagonise them while you're doing it.
They antagonise and introduce themselves into a scene. Yes. And it's all like, no, you can film. Don't talk to them and try and get a reaction or...
Yeah. It's like,
I'm not
touching you. Yeah. Like, I know it's not exactly that, but
that's what it's... I'm allowed to go past this tape. And if you look at, like, an actual news outlet, they're not going past it. They're filming from a distance and then talking about it. They're not trying to push their way in. And some of them just, what they have to go through. Yes, there are bad ones out there.
Yes, I was going to say that. Let's not to say, I know that there are, issues with police behaving badly or whatever. Like, that does happen as well. But then also, like, it's a fucking hard job. So just don't hassle them.
That's right. Like, if you do see some film, but you just film, you don't have to get up in their face and talk to them. The whole idea is just you film.
They don't have time for that shit. Like, no. Let's be honest.
See so many, and they're going, "Oh, I just want to talk to you. Oh, can you know what what the Third Amendment is?" And they're sort of like, "I just want to do my job."
Yes, I know. And then other people if there's a minor incident and it takes ages for the cops to get there, people are like, "Oh, it took them 4 hours to get there." And it's like, yeah, but like, what were they doing? Like, you don't know. Like, maybe literally there might have been a shooting or some horrible thing that they were dealing with.
And if you do want a cop to always be able to get there in minutes, then you've got to start paying for that.
Well, I pay for it with my tax dollars, Luke.
Yeah, but you need to start paying more taxes if you want more service.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You just want the more service, not pay extra.
There's one thing we hate over here, it's paying taxes. I moved to New Hampshire.
Yeah, taxes are weird over there, aren't they? But yes.
Yeah, so it looks like Alec Baldwin can move out of my Vermont house finally, show his face. And he's...
stop hiding there.
They've just announced he's going to be starring in some film coming up, so...
And they're still releasing Rust we spoke about this, weren't they?
Yeah, that's a bit odd, but all right. I mean, recoup something, but it is a bit odd. Yeah,
it just...
know. It's just a shitty situation.
A bit wrong.
And, yeah.
Oh, well, it's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, charges against him dropped. Charges not dropped against the armourer yet. That has not happened yet, so there's no guarantee. But her lawyers have said, we're pretty confident they will. I wouldn't be that confident, personally, but...
I wouldn't be that confident for her because...
All they've determined is that Alec Baldwin, as an actor...
Didn't pull the trigger.
On set, or didn't bear the responsibility of checking the gun because that wasn't his job. It was still her job.
Yeah. Yeah, it was her job. And if the gun had been modified and fucked around with, well, that's
even more
your responsibility to be on top of that.
Shouldn't have been a fucking bullet in it. Yeah, because apparently it had... it contained one live round and a bunch of dummies. That's not good. Why the fuck is that happening?
Why is there live ammunition on the set at all?
Correct. And like I said, to have dummy rounds and a live one in there, that's a recipe for fucking disaster. Like, yeah.
And yeah, it was probably put in there by mistake, but yet why was it or just even
not taken out by mistake? I reckon
not taken out, but yeah, why was it?
I bet that's what happened. They were fucking around shooting them. Someone accidentally left one in there, and that's what happened.
Well, that was the story that even at the start that evidently they were taking the guns off and messing around with them.
So stupid.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to jump into AI. I just saw something that annoyed me.
Go on.
The Michael Schumacher is family suing a magazine after posting an AI.
Yeah, I can't believe this happened. This magazine...
all for it, sue away. This is so wrong.
This magazine has apparently a history of doing weird articles involving Michael Schumacher. So for listeners who don't know, Michael Schumacher, famous Formula One driver, had an accident skiing in 2013 and suffered a serious brain injury. And he has not done a single interview since. And all we know is...
the family is very quiet about it. They just want complete privacy for him. And
they've said he's not the same. Just leave us alone. Right? No one really knows what that means. And this magazine has a history of doing shit like... when he first had the injury, he was in a coma. And they ran... the front cover had a picture of him and his wife on the cover with the headline "Awake," and the article was about other people who'd woken up from comas because he hadn't yet, and which is gross. And then so this time recently they ran his picture on the cover and some. It was an article that was a fake interview with him made up by an AI, like a ChatGPT interview that was like a simulation of what it would be like interviewing Michael Schumacher. What the fuck?
Just it's so dirty, so wrong. How can people think this is?
It's like, are you trying to trick people? Like, why are you doing that? Like, it's obviously a trick to make people think, oh, Michael Schumacher gave him an interview. Like,
yep. It's to sell magazines. That's
gross.
This is why I don't like this whole where the AI is sort of going. The next step, I thought, when I first saw it, I thought they might have done like a voice AI.
No.
Which would have been... But even, to do... that's why I'm not liking where AI is going.
The front cover of it said... the front cover was a picture of Michael, the headline promising the first interview, and had quotes, "My life has totally changed." Yeah, he didn't say that. ChatGPT said that, or whatever AI they interviewed. Like, gross.
Yeah, look, I hope, I'm happy that it's suing, and I hope they win, because not for make money, but just this should be a deterrent for doing something like that to make money.
It's just not good. Like, why are you doing that? Just write a fucking article about something normal.
Like, you could still even write about him in the fact that he's still away, you don't know anything about it. Don't make stuff up and so make it look like that he's...
I know, and the fact that they have a history of doing this is just... Ugh. It's a German magazine called Die Aktuell. What does that mean in English? Let me look it up. Aktuell...
I actually thought it would have been like a English magazine, because their tabloids are some of the worst out there for...
Relevant. It means relevant.
Relevant. Okay.
Okay. Diactual search. It means... Yeah, it just means relevant. Okay. So the magazine Relevant
just
contains a bunch of irrelevant garbage.
Yeah. I don't know why. Why can't people just, in something like this, just leave people alone?
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit like they actually just like leave us alone, and they're staying out of the spotlight. It's not like when you've got like the royals who are just leave us alone, and then we're going to do a documentary and like, we'll also videotape my therapy session. But just leave us alone.
I saw a clip from the South Park episode with, was it Harry and Meghan, where they're doing the international Leave Us Alone tour, where they're going around going, stop looking at us. Very funny.
I get that's doing stories about them very different to about Michael Schumacher, who is family, please leave us alone, and they've not said anything.
Yeah, he's had an accident and he wants to be left alone because he's not well.
People are the worst. Not us. We're nice.
No. German people. Wait, that's my ancestors. Fuck. All right.
Yeah.
We got follow up on this network's password sharing stuff. I'm pretty sure we talked about this before. North America apparently is going to be copping this next because Netflix, their numbers are shit, and they've decided the best way to fix that is to not let people share their passwords anymore. So they think they're counting on the fact that the people that can't use it anymore will buy an account and not just say fuck you and stop using it.
It's weird. I think they're doing it in different ways around the world. I think in some countries they've done it like hey, you can't share, or if you are going to share, you have to sort of pay extra for each license type of thing.
Okay.
An additional fee. But then I think in America they're just,
well, we have the way it works here is I think there's 4 levels of Netflix. The first one is Netflix with ads, and which is just you can have it on one screen at a time. Mm-hmm. And then there's like Netflix without ads on one screen, and then in like low HD. And then there's Netflix with full HD, which is I think you can have it on like 2 screens at once. And then the top plan, which is $20 a month, is 4K, and you can have it on 4 screens at once. But they've all got to be in the same house. So
see, the one thing that scared me about when they were talking about this as well, because like if you travel,
yeah,
I think you got like the way it was going to work is you had like a month, so you had that account had to log back into the home account within a month for it.
Yeah, the device had to be on your home network or something, some fucking nonsense.
Yeah, which like what happens when like because there are times where I will travel overseas and I might be there for 5-6 weeks, and I do take Netflix with me because I'm.
Well, and the device, right?
Is it going to stop for me?
We've got our place in Vermont, right? We don't. We just log in on the TV up there. Like that TV's not coming back with me. Like so we're just fucked. We can't use it up there. So stupid.
So yeah, they need to work out a way for people who are doing the right thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I don't feel sorry for the people who are upset that I can't use someone else's password now.
No.
It sucks, but
you know,
at the end of the day, you're not paying for it.
They didn't intend for you to be able to do that. But yeah, if I right, like if I go on vacation, say, I should be able to still use it. And if I have a holiday house, I should still also be able to use it.
You should be able to use it there. So that I think that'll be stuff that will have to be worked out because it's still you.
Correct.
I don't know how it'll work, but
I don't think they do either. Like I said, the way they explained it, I was like, that's nonsense. Like, that works if I'm using my iPad, right? But not if I use, the TV.
The television.
Because that stays there. So, I don't know. But anyway, apparently...
Then also, it might be different because, like, if you're only there, like, once a month, it might be okay. I think it's for all the stuff that's constantly being used, maybe. I don't know. Also, you'll be the first one to find out if it hurts you.
Yeah. Also, I don't know how much this is going to work for him. Like,
look,
it's this gross thing where
the biggest problem
you have to grow. Like, it's not like Netflix has got to be profitable, right? But it's not enough to be profitable. You've got to like be constantly more and more and more profitable every day, and it's like, but everybody already has Netflix.
Look, it's like everyone's got it. Like every now and again, you increase your price just to keep up with inflation and cost of things.
Sure,
but look, I think the problem is there are too many streaming services now.
Yeah, they're getting worse, and we talked about this last week.
This was the problem that we
fucking HBO and everything, and they just keep like they go, it's not working quite well, so they just flip the fucking table over and they go, okay, now we're going to smush these two together into this. It's like, why would I subscribe to any of these? You just mess it up all the time.
But this was the problem we spoke about when, like, streaming services first started to come out. Like, it was fine when there was a couple, and it's always good to have a couple because you've got competition. But now there's more than 10, and they've all got exclusives.
Yeah, because this is like there's some news going around this week, and this reminds me of this. Car manufacturers are starting to talk about not letting Apple CarPlay or Android, equivalent, whatever it is, the Android Auto stuff. They're not going to allow that anymore because they've realized, well, we could just make the software and you can buy your Spotify subscription through us. And then they can make a cut of this sweet, sweet fucking app money that, like, Apple and Google are making. So it's the same things happening where they're realizing, hang on a minute. Like, why are we letting Apple and Google take all the money? And so now cars are just going to go the same way, where it's like every time you buy a car, it's going to have some different fucking garbage software on there.
Instead of just, hey, you can plug whatever you want in it and it'll
just plug your phone in and it's just basically it's just a screen that displays the car interface from your phone, which is fucking great.
Why is that a market? Why is that a market they don't want to get into?
Because they think it's fucking money on the table.
Free money.
Like, they think there's billions of dollars there that they're they've turned their back on by letting Apple and Google come in. But guys, you're not Apple and you're not Google. You're going to do a shit job. This is not going to work.
Because look,
people are just going to start putting their phone on the dashboard again. That's what's going to happen.
Yes. Like, yeah, if you're thinking that, you're going to make money off that Spotify subscription, that's not going to happen. They'll Bluetooth their phone.
Correct. It's just going to piss everybody off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And because the other problem is, too, Tesla does not allow those things. They use their own software. But Tesla is not a normal car company. Same Rivian. Like, these are not normal car companies. They're, like, very software-based. It's not the same thing. And people still don't like the way those cars do it. People want Apple CarPlay or Google fucking Auto or whatever.
Android, like, and even like the Android Auto thing. That's just a generic. It's nothing special about it.
It's literally you plug your phone in and it just puts a little picture up on the screen. It just streams the video off your phone onto the screen. Like, it's fucking great because it's the phone that you use for everything else. Like,
yep. So it works. You don't have to mess around and try and learn. Or I'm thinking about the only time I really use it when you've got to learn it is when you're getting into a new car. So when I was hiring cars a lot.
Sure.
But I suppose, like, you do it once, but no, it's a pain. Don't do it. Make life easy. Yeah. Work in good faith, people.
I know. It's been going so well. And then it's, So anyway, it's just, it reminds me of the streaming services where all these studios realized, hang on a minute, why don't we just make our own streaming service? And then they make this garbage fucking app that doesn't work.
Licensing out Star Trek, we'll just have we'll create Paramount Plus, and now everyone has to come to us, and
we won't spend any money on trying to make it so usable. Much money. We're too busy counting the money.
The reason why people share passwords and try to get around is because there's only so much money that they can have for entertainment purposes, and everyone's trying to get extra money out of people.
Especially because over here, apparently, people still pay for cable. And then they buy this stuff on top of it.
I still don't understand that.
Blows my fucking mind.
I think they're just so used to, you got to have cable, and then,
it's all packaged
and they'll use
up.
their remote to open up Netflix.
Yeah. That's what Jenna's parents do. They watch Netflix on their Verizon cable box. It's so funny.
Because Verizon have just told people, this is the box you need, and we'll make it easy for you to pay for the other services, but you still got to...
And then I just have internet with Verizon, all right? Nothing else. And when I tell people how much I pay for it, they're like, oh, how'd you get that? And I'm like, I just fucking called them and said, I don't want any of this other shit. I just want internet. And then they still send me emails and they go, oh, we've got a great deal for you if you bundle a home phone and cable. I don't want a home phone or cable. Stop emailing me.
What are you going to do with a home phone?
Ignore it. Or unplug it, because I don't want to hear it. I don't want it.
Look, the only way you can make the deal better is if I pay less.
Yeah. Oh, they're not going to do that. They've bumped the price up. Mine's locked, thank fuck. But, yeah.
Like, I don't know anyone here in Australia that I know of has, like, cable anymore, except for some older people I know. But no one has home phones anymore.
No. That's. Yeah, I think the only reason people do here is because they're just used to buying these bundles. Like,
yep.
And the companies push them.
And I have to think too is I bought my tried to cancel or change, they can be quite abusive over there.
The funny thing here is right that I've noticed is you're almost punished for staying with a carrier. Like a lot of people here will like say in this area the main options really are Cox or Verizon, and the new sign-up deals are good, but then they expire and then they're just like, fuck you. So what people do is they just switch between the two providers. Like every couple of years they switch. I'm like, that's a fucking pain in the ass. Like, why don't you just like reward loyal customers or something? It's like so weird. Like,
no, it's the same. Even here with electricity plans, like I'm better off to change every few years because I'll offer a better deal, and I'm so I don't want to. It's a pain.
No, it's annoying. Yeah,
I'm happy just to pay you. Just don't rip me off.
Stop slowly bumping the price up over time. Like, why are you doing that? I've been a customer of yours for so long. Why are you fucking me?
Like, I can understand bumping the price up, but don't do it in a mean way. Like, just to
when I first got my internet, it was $40 a month, and I was like, "This is amazing." And then that lasted for 12 months, and then it started creeping up, and I was like, "Hang on a minute." So I called them. And I said, "What's going on here?" And they said, "Oh yeah, your new sign-up bonus expired." And I was like, "So, how does this work?" And basically, it was just going to go up and up and up over time. Yeah. And I was like, "You realize that's insane, right? Are you trying to force me away from you as a customer?" And then so that's how they came back and they offered me. I pay $80 a month for gigabit internet.
Yep.
Nothing else, and it's locked. I made them promise at the time. I said, you're not allowed to change that price. They said, okay.
Well, like my internet, I'm paying like $150 for gigabit, and that's just the price. Like there might have been like a
more expensive.
Yeah, it's just
always is.
You look at it's about the same. It's a little bit more expensive, but yeah. But that's just the price of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't understand this weird thing with the. It's like the phone plans here too.
You always got to keep growing.
Yeah, they subsidize your phone and all that kind of weird shit. Like, they do that in Australia. Like, if I want a phone, it's cheaper for me to get it with as part of my plan, technically, than it is to just go and buy a phone outright. Because for some reason the carriers will subsidize it, but I have to pay month to month for it, which means I have to renew my phone contract. So I guess they can bump the price of the contract up rather than, like...
I have seen that, and I do see, like, some plans. I just buy my phone outright, and then...
That's what I prefer to do.
If you shop... Yeah, and if you shop around, you can get, like, a good deal with, like, a third-party provider.
Yeah.
If you go through just a phone plan through, like, a Telstra and Optus, it seems a bit higher. But if you go through a third party, you can spend like $40 and...
Yeah, see, we're grandfathered into an existing family plan. So, like, the month-to-month is really good. But I don't get this benefit that everyone else seems to get where you get the phone much cheaper. But then I'm like, yeah, but then you had to sign up for 24 months for some massively more expensive phone plan. So, like, I mean, sort of the phone's cheaper, but is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just so...
I just don't like being on a plan. I'm not spending over $100 a month for a phone.
No, it's insanity.
Crazy talk.
Also, I'm always on the Wi-Fi anyway, because I just work at home.
Yeah.
So I don't... Yeah.
Now, can we talk about... Let's stick with Musk, even though we stopped talking about it a while ago, and go back to SpaceX.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did you watch the launch?
I didn't. I meant to, but I forgot about it, and I really wish I did now that I knew it blew up.
Well, they thought it was going to. That's what I've seen some funny takes on this week. So this was the test flight of Starship, first fully loaded test flight of Starship.
Is this the one that's going to the moon, or is this the one for Mars?
It's going. I think potentially both, but it is the one that they've pitched as going to Mars. That's been the big pitch for a long time. And the point of this was just to try and launch it. And then I think they said on the broadcast, anything, once it left the tower and got up in the air, anything beyond literally getting a meter above that tower was just kind of like icing on the cake. And they figured it was probably going to blow up. Because that's just how they operate.
And that's not unusual. That's how
SpaceX does stuff. They'll try, fail, iterate. Like it seems like an expensive way to do it, but it's actually fairly quick way to get successful. Is that that didn't work? Let's do it again.
Do it in practice. It's all theory.
Yeah, exactly.
So to actually see it, but this one actually flew.
Yeah. So technically, this was a success. It's just it didn't look like one because it blew up. And so there's been some funny takes of people going, "Oh, Elon's fucked up again." It's like, well, no, he didn't technically.
Yeah, like in this one didn't have cargo. It wasn't planning to do anything. This one was just get off the ground.
They expected it to fail in some manner. And I was disappointed because I wanted it to blow up while it was landing. It's because that landing maneuver that they do is just so cool. But it's magic black magic how that thing lands. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. So that's the other thing too. People confused it. Like they have launched this thing sort of before prototypes of it and landed it. But this was different. This was like full payload weight with like the full rocket thing and everything on it. Like it was a whole different kettle of fish.
Yeah, this was this is how heavy it's going to be when we actually do launch it.
Put some humans in it.
Yeah,
and hopefully it won't end that way. When there's humans,
we should go and watch one of these launches one day.
I would love to do that. Yeah, it's down in Austin. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Should we launch stuff in Australia? We've got plenty of room. Launch from here.
I think it's practical to launch from the equator. That's literally why they do it.
Yes.
So,
but it's a long way for me to go.
Nothing personal, mate. It's just easy to get to space from Austin or Florida. I've been to Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It's a cool place.
Oh, how's that?
Yeah, it's good. That's where I learned. They told us that this is actually a trivia question one week. The fences are bent over outwards to stop alligators climbing over them, because they used to have an issue where the alligators would climb over the fences and get onto the launch pads and stuff. So in case you're wondering if alligators can climb a fence, they can.
They can.
Yeah. They can and they do.
I would assume that they can.
I wouldn't have assumed that with their little legs.
Yeah, they're big lizards. Lizards can climb trees.
That's fair. Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Can alligators
Probably
climb trees?
a lot of people out there are screaming at me while I'm wrong, but...
Speaking of animals climbing trees, I watched a movie.
How was it? I've been wanting to see this. Cocaine Bear.
I watched Cocaine Bear. It's fucking ridiculous. It's
based on a true story, but I have a feeling that the movie is the only part of true is there was a bear that had cocaine, and that's about it.
Yeah, I highly doubt that 90% of this movie really happened, but that's fine. It's just a bit of fun. It's ridiculous. It's about there's like a drug mule, I guess, or there's a flight, like a flight of cocaine in the 80s. They're bringing it up into America over Georgia. The guy throws all the cocaine out of the plane because he's going to parachute out and retrieve it. And he hits his head and falls to his death. And the cocaine is found by a bear, which eats it and goes on a rampage. And that's the plot.
So I think the actual story is, it's basically, it was dropped off.
Yeah.
The bear found it, ate it, and then died of a heart attack. And I think that's the true part of the story.
I kept expecting that to happen. I was like, that's a lot of cocaine for a bear. I mean, I don't know a lot about cocaine, I'll be honest, but it just doesn't seem like you'd want to eat that much of it.
No.
But yeah, no, it was good. It's fun. It's very gory, so beware of that, listeners. If you're squeamish, it's very. I mean, that's the point of it. To be honest, it's it's schlock, but it's funny. It's funny. It's a comedy. It's not a serious movie in any way.
Yeah, it's directed by Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah. So yeah, funny, very over the top, very silly.
Which is a movie you want to see every now and again.
Yeah.
Just it's fun.
Ridiculous. It's got what's his name, who played young Han Solo in it. Took me a bit to pick who it was too. I was like, that guy looks familiar. I never remember his name. And I was like, oh shit, it's Han Solo. Alden Heinrich or something.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, he's in it.
Yep, Alden. Should be Holden.
Holden.
I remember Holden. Alden, I don't get.
Oh, okay.
Alden's not a name.
No. He's in it. Is anyone else recognizable in it? There's people I've seen in other things. I don't know their names though.
Let's have a look.
What a B-grade actors. In a good way. Because that's what this is.
Yeah, it's... Yeah. Are you going to... Actually, I need to ask you, are you going to the movies this week?
No.
Because Evil Dead Rise comes out this week.
Oh, no, very unlikely that I'll be going to the movies, but I do want to watch that, but yeah, difficult to get to the movies these days.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Because I want to see that there's Guardians also in the next couple of weeks. But you're right with the names on this. There's a lot of...
Like Margot Martindale.
From somewhere.
Margot Martindale I've seen in a ton of stuff before. I'm sure. I couldn't
but
I think
the biggest name in the actual movie is just Ray Liotta.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Ray Liotta's in it. This was the last film he ever did. It's dedicated to him.
Yeah.
And at the end. Dedicated to his memory.
I would have dedicated to him more than his memory.
It's fucking ridiculous.
His memory probably isn't that good anymore.
Last movie. Such a stupid movie. Oh, she's from the thing that I've seen Margot Martindale in recently is that TV show that we watched. What was that called?
Oh, the weird one.
Yeah. What was that called? The Watcher.
The Watcher.
Yeah.
Such a strange movie. I'm still... the television show is still quite weird because there's no end to it.
Yeah.
It's just there's an end to it, but...
It's also based on a true story. But yes, I recommend Cocaine Bear. It's fun.
All right.
If you think that's your kind of thing.
I did try and get to the movie to see it.
If you like movies where bears eat cocaine and eat people, that sounds like something you'd be interested in. You'd probably like it. If you think that sounds a bit gross, don't watch it because you'll almost certainly think it's gross.
Yeah, I saw some behind-the-scenes photos, and just like people been ripped apart.
Yeah. There's lots
of blood.
Yeah.
Well, that's what would happen with a bear on cocaine. And well, it's not. They just die.
It's very over the top and done in a... Yeah, it's one of the... It's hard to explain, I suppose. But you know when it's done in a goofy way? It's not like... Yeah. You know, there's like horror like Hostel, where it's very like intense and, you know, dire. This isn't like that. It's just very over the top and silly. Like, you're not supposed to care about these people. You're supposed to cheer when they get ripped to pieces, kind of thing. Yeah.
All right. I'll be on the lookout for that then.
Good. I've got some news that it's not good news for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think.
Oh, what's happening now?
I don't know that we actually talked about this, but there was an incident a few weeks back. I think it might have happened while I was in California, actually. Not suggesting I had anything to do with it. I'm just saying that's when it happened. Where Jonathan Majors, who played Kang in Ant-Man vs. the Wasp, and he was in Loki and he's in Lovecraft Country. He's been in a few things. And he was supposed to be is still, I suppose, supposed to be the big major villain of this phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yep.
He was arrested for allegedly choking a woman or assaulting a woman. And it was kind of news at the time. and he maintained he was innocent. However, this week he's been dropped from a bunch of movies. He's been dropped by his management, and he's been dropped by his PR firm, which none of that is good.
So being dropped by the movies at this stage, that's probably, you can see, but being dropped by your management, that's...
Yeah. So I think that
sounds
PR,
like everyone's abandoning ship.
So it's not good. And obviously the most important thing is hopefully he hasn't seriously injured anybody, and this is not that's just horrible. But this is just not good news all around, really, because what the fuck is Marvel going to do about this?
Evidently, from what I can see, it happened in New York, so you are off the hook.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah, I was very far away from New York. If I was here, it'd be more likely that I was involved. Not that it would be likely that I was involved.
So, yeah, because I'm just reading part of the statement is, all evidence proves that he's entirely innocent and did not assault her whatsoever. Unfortunately, the incident came about because the woman was having an emotional crisis for which she was taken to a hospital yesterday. The NYPD is required to make an arrest in these situations, and that's the only reason he was arrested. So that's the statement.
Well, then why is all this happening then?
I think that, yes, that they are required to make an arrest if there's been an assault and there's an aggressor.
I mean, I don't know the specifics. So, I mean, maybe it is true.
Yeah, it's not looking...
Because something happened. But then for it to have been this long now and all of a sudden everyone's like, we don't want anything to do with him anymore. That's not good. Like...
Yeah. Look,
I don't think so clean cut that he was innocent. Why aren't they supporting him?
Sticking around, especially with your management PR who he pays
that's
to
their
handle
job.
This type of stuff.
Yeah, they're like, we're not touching this.
So, I don't know. I don't think this will be too much of a problem for Marvel at the moment. You could recast him.
True.
I don't think he's done... I haven't seen Ant-Man, but did he play like a super major? Or was he just in
I think he was the main villain. I think he's...
I thought he might have been like at an end of sequence type of
but
thing.
You're right, though. And now that you mention it, actually, if depending on what happens here, replacing him would actually potentially be a good PR move for them.
Yeah.
If he's guilty of whatever this is.
If he's guilty, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, strange. His legal teams claim they have additional evidence that could exonerate him. Well, all right. Oh, including video footage from the vehicle where it took place. Yeah, interesting. I mean, this is all horrible, and obviously we don't know any... I don't think they've released any details of what this is. So...
No.
It's just doesn't sound good.
No. And I doubt, it's probably the video, even though it may exonerate him, may still not make him look good.
No.
I'm going to guess. Even if it didn't come down to a physical thing, which
didn't they say he didn't touch her? So even if it shows that,
yeah,
no worries.
Well,
if it shows him not touching her.
But the thing where I think it's still not going to look good for him if it comes out is the fact that she still ended up having to go to hospital in an emotional crisis. So may not have been physical, but it doesn't sound...
Entirely innocent and did not assault her whatsoever. I mean, if there's video evidence of that, fair enough. I guess this isn't going to go anywhere. So, good.
We'll just wait and see.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not defending him
not going to show me the
condemning him yet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, same. I saw these articles this week and I was like, oh, that doesn't sound positive. Like, it's a pretty big, step.
I'd say if anything happens, I reckon they will just straight away recast.
Yeah, they'll have to.
Yeah. And I don't think it'll be a huge thing. As you said, it'll probably look good for them.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as it's... I guess if it's a kind of a wishy-washy thing, then it could end up being a mess. Which is what it is right now, I think, is fairly wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really... No one knows what the fuck this even is. So, anyway.
Wait and see. But let's talk about some other horrible people.
Well, hang on. I don't know about this one, right? This is another one where I'm like, what happened? So, as we know, F. Murray Abraham did not appear in season 3 of Mythic Quest, and they said he was too busy. I think that's what they said. And they
actually even killed him off.
They wrote his character out of the show, so he's not coming back. And then now this week it's come out, allegedly, he was fired for sexual misconduct, which I was like, oh, fuck me, not F. Murray Abraham, because he's a well-known, beloved actor, and I just don't want that to be true. If it is true, well, fuck him, but I don't want it to be true. But then, so that came out, and then he's now come out and issued an apology with some elaboration that makes it seem like it's not as bad as that first headline made it sound, where the original headline was fired for sexual misconduct. He's saying he told some jokes, off-color jokes, I'm guessing. So his statement is, I'll do this in my best F. Murray Abraham impression. This is a sincere and deeply felt apology. Though never my intention to offend anyone, I told jokes, nothing more, that upset some of my colleagues and, as a result, lost a job with wonderful people. I've grown in my understanding from this experience, and I hope they will forgive me. Pretty good apology.
I don't know. That's
depending on what he did. If it was just some jokes, what's that?
Like, there's a difference. It depends on like what type of jokes he's talking about. If he's making jokes about people he's working with,
here's the thing, right? It's Mythic Quest. It's Rob McElhenney. Like, I gotta imagine these people have thick skins for some off-color jokes.
Yes.
So, the fuck did he say?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think.
Also, he's a 83-year-old man. Like, what could he have said that was that bad? It's just so confusing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's like a joke, like I'll priest and rabbi walk into a bar type of thing. I'm thinking it's like he's making jokes directly at some of.
Do you think it's a case of like,
you know, you've got a joke that I'm going to take you back to my room, and
he's hanging out with like McElhenney and these guys who do make kind of, because those guys they do make crude jokes, but they're clever jokes, and I wonder if it's just this, he's an 83-year-old trying to talk like the kids are talking, and it's just he's just fucked it up.
What I'm actually more scared about is he's grown up in an industry where you're allowed to get away with shit, and he's finally just been called out for it.
Yeah, you might be right. Like I said, I was so happy when he was in it, and his character was so good, and I don't know, it's just so. Yeah, it's a shame to think that it's a shame to think they're all like that, you know? All of them.
Yeah, but it does seem to be that way. But his apology is, didn't mean to offend. I told some jokes and they got offended. That's on them.
No, that's not necessarily true. No, he says it's sincere to be felt. He didn't mean to offend. He told jokes, nothing more, which I feel like is a fair clarification given the fact that the fucking headlines say he sexually assaulted somebody.
Yeah.
If he just told jokes... If he made some jokes, that's pretty different to.
I think he's trying to make it clear, like it was nothing. I didn't touch anyone.
Yes, I didn't try to assault. I didn't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
he made a joke or several jokes. It sounds like there were two incidents, which was actually why they fired.
One line that really gets me in this. It's that upset some of my colleagues, and then he goes, "And because of that, I lost my job."
Well, I don't know. I think you're reading into that a bit. He did. I mean, he's just saying. He loved the job and he lost it as a result of a mistake he made. You could either read it as he's blaming them or he's accepting responsibility. I don't know.
Oh, no. And unfortunately, it's because one of those things, you don't know what happened.
No.
And that's the worst thing.
What did you say? F. Murray Abraham, what did you say? I want to know. What was the joke?
The other thing that makes it weird is the fact that they didn't say this at the time. It's only just come out now. Before it was like, he's just too busy. It's a shame. We loved working with him.
Well, they did say at the time they don't comment on that kind of thing. Like, there was another article I read. It's not in this article. I've seen a few articles about this. There was one that said at the time he left the show, they contacted them and said, "Why is he leaving?" And they said, "Well, we don't discuss that kind of stuff. Like it's just a decision between him and the showrunners, kind of thing." So.
Well, it doesn't sound like it was a decision that with him.
Well, they're not going to tell everybody that, though. You know what I mean? I think that was their point. Was it's none of your fucking business why he left, and then now this has come out. So, and the other thing is that, I mean, this is such an odd way of putting it. THR reports the production team on The White Lotus Season 2, which he was on after he left Mythic Quest, didn't receive any complaints about his behavior. It's like, well, I mean, he got fired. So? Yeah, it doesn't really mean anything.
Maybe, and if you go off...
If he was a prick all the way up to that point, and then he got fired, and he stopped doing it afterwards, I mean, good. But that doesn't mean he wasn't a prick before that. It's like if I was stealing shit from work or something like that, and I got fired for it, I'm not going to start a new job and immediately steal shit again, am I?
Yeah. Well, it's even like when people... Joss Whedon.
Sure.
When some of the stuff were coming up, well, he was flying around me. Well, yeah, but he didn't care about you the way he was...
And this is the other thing that comes down to my theory about... I mean, what The White Lotus, from what I understand, is a very different kind of show. And I just wonder if this is a case of an old man trying to fit in,
trying to
and
keep
make
up
edgy jokes.
Jokes got away from him.
Yeah, he's trying to make edgy jokes, and he's just not very good at it. And he's offended a bunch of people by saying something, sexist or whatever he said. I don't know what it was.
What he said, but that it's also because they would have, unless he was just crazy on this first time he did it and just went all out. But you think he would have had like words like, "Hey, you got." Dial it back a bit.
I read, again, this is all alleged, but here we go. Sorry. The first resulted in him being given a warning and told to keep away from some of the show's actresses. A second allegation came up, and it forced Rob McElhenney to let him go from the show. So it happened twice, or something like it happened twice.
Or at least actually, twice to that level.
Potentially, it doesn't even clarify whether it was the same person, but I guess whatever he was doing, it pissed off people on more than one occasion.
It wasn't physical, but he was saying some stuff to some of the actresses that was not appropriate more than once.
And he says it was jokes, whatever that means.
He says it was jokes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but yeah.
Like I said, given what I know about the people
a joke,
who work on that show, must have been some fucking joke. Because, like I said, I don't think they're thin-skinned people. So
no.
Yeah.
Oh well. It's a shame. He'll be missed.
Yes.
He's not dead yet, but
he's getting there. His character is.
Yep.
Oh, that episode was very funny.
Did you watch that season? Like, it wasn't like...
Did you watch...
Yes.
The episode where his ashes are in the satellite. God, that was funny. I'm glad I didn't find out before I watched it.
But it was a bit of a weird season. I'm looking forward to the next season where I think hopefully it goes back a bit more to...
Yeah, it's all a bit disjointed. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like season 1 did. And season 2 and 3 so far, I felt have just been kind of drifting along.
And there's like multiple stories that aren't really... Yeah, there's
no glue, so to speak.
Yeah. Especially like with season 3, the whole idea is that they're going off to make their own game, and then the whole series is that doesn't come about, and then they go back. So it's sort of there's no end goal or So now hopefully it'll go back. Hey, we're going to make a new expansion or something, and there'll be something to aim towards.
And season 3 was the season 3 one was the story about how Iron and Poppy met. That was pretty good, that episode, but it wasn't as good in my opinion as the one of the first season, the Quiet Dark Death.
Oh, the first season is my favorite one.
That's such a good episode. Like, just amazing TV. And then the one in the second season about F. Murray Abraham's character, when he steals the Isaac Asimov book.
Steal?
No, but Isaac Asimov rewrites his book for him. That was very funny as well. That was very funny too. That was a good episode. Yes. Yeah. It's a good show, Mythic Quest. But I said, I hope it does come together in some way because it feels it's lost itself. Like, trying to do too much. When I got to the final episode of season 3, I was like, oh, that's it? Okay. That didn't go anywhere. Like, I liked it.
Yeah.
It just didn't satisfy me, you know? They've been renewed for 2 more seasons, I think.
Don't they?
I think 2 more.
Oh,
I think they got renewed for 2 more. So I could be wrong about that. Maybe there was 2 more last time.
I think they were renewed for at least 2 to begin with, but I think now that, I don't know if it did as well as the first season. I think it's been dropping off. I think the same thing that we've got is it.
Well, yeah,
disjointed.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. It's not leading towards anything.
Mm.
Like season 1 had this through line where they were all working together on the expansion, and there was the masked man and all that kind of stuff, and it was all kind of going somewhere together. Whereas, like you said, it's a bunch of separate storylines that are not connected yet.
Yeah, like they're there, the characters are there,
and it feels like they're like almost connected, but then they veer away, and it's like, yeah. Anyway, still a good show.
It is. And I'll still watch the next season.
Before we go,
I'm just going to need to find his name. What's his name?
Robert Paulson.
Cricket. What's his name?
Oh, Dave. Fucking what is his name?
Dave Hornsby.
David Hornsby. Yeah.
I still say he's one of the greatest actors ever.
He is a fantastic comic actor. He is so funny, but also he does the dramatic scenes very well too. Like, just I know what you mean. His improv
he plays
stuff.
cricket, which is intelligent, great, and then
Yes.
like in Good Girls, he plays this horrible person, and then this, and he plays comedy. He's just I don't think he's just a great actor. I just like to bring that up.
His if you watch the bloopers for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the ones with him are so funny because the no one can keep a straight face while he just like fucking improvises and makes all this weird shit up, and it's all hilarious. And couldn't have been used in the show because everybody just starts laughing. So, God, he's just fucking hilarious.
There was that episode in Always Sunny where they kept spitting in his face, and they're actually spitting in his face, and he just.
Oh man, so funny. All right, before we go, we've got some bad news that we found out this week. We could have had something really good, and it was taken away from us back in the 2000s.
Late 2000s, yeah.
Late 2000s. We almost had an Aliens RPG made by Obsidian. What the fuck?
Which would have been amazing, because, like, evidently they were working on something, nothing full-time or anything from what I can see, for about 2006 to 2009. In 2010 is when we got Fallout New Vegas, which some people say is, like, the best Fallout game still.
So during that period where they were making the fucking cream of the cream role-playing games, they were working on an Aliens one that got shelved.
It's so depressing because the Alien franchise is so good, but we don't get good games for it.
Yeah, I know.
Like, Alien Isolation is probably the best, and then everything else just seems to just miss.
Yeah.
Like, even the old Alien vs. Predator and stuff.
Oh, they were goofy fun, but they weren't good. And oh man, imagine a fucking
Marine,
Obsidian.
was...
Like, what even was this game? Like, what was? It's just so. I need to know more about it. Like, what was the premise of this? Was it like a Fallout style game, or like? I mean, it says role playing.
Was it going to be like a? Yeah, it just says role playing game, which that's very generic. So that's,
because they're known for.
I'm not thinking it would.
Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I'm not thinking it's going to be like
as well. So it could have been like that, or
I doubt it was going to be like a Fallout, like first person. It may have been like an isometric.
Imagine that.
It could have been. Maybe they should do that. I don't know. No, I don't think they would quite.
I'd love it if they
Obsidian just make more games.
Yeah. Well, they're the people who moved on to do Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds, yep. And I'm looking forward to Outer Worlds 2 because...
On that note, have you played...
It's going to be bigger.
Have you played Space's Choice Edition yet?
No.
Because I've heard it's got a lot of issues, like with performance and stuff. So I've held off on even looking at it because I was waiting to see if they resolved that. So I was hoping you'd played it already.
I don't want to buy it again.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't either.
You've got to buy it. And I'm also like... I've played it and it looked fine. And it's only meant to be like... It's not adding new story or anything from what I understand. It's just graphics, isn't it?
But yes, and the thing is, though, that I saw some screenshots, and yes, visually it does look quite a lot better, except there are a lot of glitches and issues that it introduces. So I was like, well...
Okay.
I mean, I already played through the game.
Yeah. Like if it was adding new, but yeah, I've already played through it, so...
I mean, it was very good. I'm
looking forward to 2.
Yeah.
Now that they were basically the first one's out, they went, hey, this is really good, have more money, make it bigger. Because that's the one thing, like, even though there was a lot of places, everything was still quite small.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. It's
like you go to a planet and you go, hey, you can do this little tiny town, and that's it.
There was one planet that was quite large, the one where you went outside and wandered around. But yeah, other than that, it was very contained.
So yeah, we'll wait and see what the second one is, but probably a few years away from it.
Yeah.
But we'll have Starfield to tide us over till then.
Oh yeah, when's that come out?
November. Or September.
Hang on, something comes out soon. What comes out soon? I can't remember. I saw something
Star Wars.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Jedi Survivor comes out next week. Starfield's September 6th. Redburn, Red something comes out
Redfall,
next
the vampire
week.
One.
Redfall
from Arcane. Yeah, I don't think I care about that.
No,
I like Arcane games, but I don't think
I'll play it for 5 minutes because it's on Game Pass. But
yeah, free game. Why not?
No.
I started playing Assassin's Creed Origins. Just a little bit. I don't know why. I don't know what compelled me to do that. I just popped it on, and so far I really like it. So
is that the Egyptian one, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is interesting because I really loved Odyssey, and Valhalla I did enjoy a lot, but then I have not felt compelled to go back to it. I liked Odyssey more, and in playing Origins, it feels more like Odyssey does, but actually kind of simpler than Odyssey, which is actually for me pretty good at the moment. I prefer it to be simpler.
Origin I didn't mind, but that was the first big change where they changed the style a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel Odyssey is where they sort of perfected it. And
Odyssey was fucking amazing.
Origin was still a good game, still enjoyed it.
So far I'm enjoying it. It's interesting. It's a different setting. I haven't played a lot of games set during ancient Egypt, so if any, just was
and do you get to go and explore the pyramids?
Oh, do you? That's cool. There's what's the
you get to climb on the Sphinx's nose.
Do you? Oh, that's all right.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. See, I got to play this more now. Seems pretty good.
Yeah, just make sure to throw it in the easiest setting, and away you go.
That's what I did. Get to ride a camel.
Maybe I should go back and play it.
Maybe you should.
That's something, because, and if you want now, you can go back basically and play any Ubisoft game you want now.
But don't you have to pay for that with their stupid thing?
Yep, and it's stupidly expensive.
It's more expensive than Game Pass. Why would I want to do that?
Than Game Pass. And so, Ubisoft Plus came out on the Xbox. It's more expensive than Game Pass. And I think the stupid thing they did is they didn't release it with like here's a new game or anything. It's just, here's our back catalogue
of games that you probably already played.
The
thing is, Ubisoft games, I'm so behind on them. I do like them. I like Ubisoft games, but I don't need them on day one. And they're always really cheap later. So, like, there's no way I'm going to pay for this. Like, I paid, I think, like $40 for Assassin's Creed fucking everything. I've got, like, pretty much all of them. And they were all, like, $5-10 each. Like, why would I subscribe to this thing?
Yeah, I don't see the value in it.
Yeah, I think their pricing is stupid.
Yeah.
Well, and
especially because
the feedback online appears to think the same too. So I'd be surprised if they don't change it.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah. No, the pricing is very expensive. There's no new games. It's just back catalog. But people already own them or they've played them. So why are you going to?
Yeah, that's right.
Rush out.
Unless, there's no compelling thing where it's like, oh, I didn't already have all these games. Like, no, we've played them if we wanted to play them at this point.
Played them. No, the smart thing to do if you're doing this at this price would have been to release
with
it.
a new Assassin's Creed.
Here's a new Assassin's Creed, and here's Ubisoft Plus.
Yeah.
But people should just put me in marketing. I'd be great at it.
We've got some marketing news. It's an update on some stuff we talked about last week. It's coming up in the after party. If you want to hear it, head to patreon.com/multiplenerdgasm. And for $10 a month, you can hear us continue talking, where we're going to do some follow-up on Anheuser-Busch, a.k.a. Bud Light controversy. Some
beer.
Some new stuff came out this week, and I'm fucking annoyed at most online press because I feel like they really did a bad job of explaining this fucking situation.
All right. Well, yeah. Join us over there and find out what that is, because I don't even know yet.
Well, I will explain it to you.
We'll find out together.
Everyone's getting upset over nothing.
That's all for this week. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed it, then please subscribe in iTunes to receive episodes automatically. We'll see you next time.